Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. If you're listening on Spotify, that's great as well. Link's always in the description to listen to us over there. In today's video, I've got something pretty special. I just wanted to share, that we've crossed 1 million in total sales and total earnings in my business throughout sort of my entrepreneurial career. And I wanted to break down some of the lessons that I've learned, some of the things that I've taken away from the journey. And this is by no means even like the end of the journey. Like, this is just the beginning. And I really don't even see that million as like, and I hope this doesn't come off like at the risk of sounding tone deaf, like it doesn't feel like that much money. I know people that do that every month. I know people that have done that in a day. And so really there's infinite levels of scale to business. And I just think your first million is your hardest. And it's one of these things that is a benchmark that I really wanted to hit in my early 20s, that I really wanted to sort of have under my belt. And I don't know, it's a total blessing to be here and to have done it, but this isn't just a braggy show-off video. This is really just some of the things that I've learned and really some lessons that I want to pass down to people that are just getting started. It doesn't matter your age, if you're my age or younger or older, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, if you are just getting started, if you already made your first 100 grand, you've made your first 500, or you're even coming up on your first million as well, maybe just getting to mirror some of my sentiments will be valuable for you, and just to hear somebody that's at a similar stage. So getting right into it, I just want to break down a couple of the core themes that I've seen. And I brainstormed this video. I was in the gym this morning and I was really thinking, what do I really want to say? Because I know that this video is going to get some traction. I know people that are going to click on this video are going to watch a lot of it. They're going to ask a lot of questions. It's going to give my business and myself a lot of authority. It's going to help a lot of people. And I just thought, really, what do I want to say? And I figured, okay, so the first thing I wanted to say is that business is not about you. Business is not about what it grants you. You can make it about what it grants you. But the longer you do that, the more damage you do towards the actual reality of what it means to be a business owner, which is finding a creative problem to solve for people. And you'll find that after about 6 figures a year, $100,000 a year in income, your life doesn't change much. So it changes a bit. Like today I'm going out and I'm picking my mom up a Cartier Santos, which is like this, it's like a $10,000 watch. So it's an expensive watch relatively. But I've always wanted to do something for her. And so I can do these sorts of things. But to be honest, she probably it would be just as meaningful for her if I just went out and spent $100 on dinner and just, read her a nice note or something. And same thing like with my girlfriend, like, her and I are planning on getting married, and the fact that I can, say, all right, I won't really have to necessarily work a job. I can just work from home, and I can, continue to build the business as is, and that gives us a nice life. But other people are happy with, 70, 80,000 a year, and that's fine. So I wanted to first say that business is not about you. It's not about your goals. It's about a mixture of your goals in context with the service that you bring to the market, and seeing it through that your clients are satisfied. And the biggest leaps that I've made in my business have always come after a season of meditating on that idea. So, like this past week has been a record week, $67,000 this past week in contracted revenue, about $50,000 paid, with one $20,000 day thrown in there to really top it off. So it was an incredible week of the business to end off the month of April. I want you to understand that every season of growth has come for me right after a season of meditating on really why I'm doing this. And the beginning of April, I took 10 days off. I went to Colorado with some buddies, and they're not business buddies. I've known them for a while, and I've known one of them since I was like 13, and the other two I've met in the past 3 or 4 years through a Bible group that I go to, where I also met my girlfriend. And, I was just meditating like, why do I do what I do? What's the real purpose of it? And I just started thinking about the results we've gotten, the people that have succeeded. Like, you look at our channel, you look at the interviews, like those interviews mean so much to me. And every time that I see somebody succeed, I genuinely feel like my mission is being fulfilled. And that's every time I get back to that place, the business grows. It's just like inevitable every time. So then the numbers are just a really fun side quest. It's just like a fun side effect. So that's the first thing is business isn't about you. So when you look at these marketers online, and you even look at myself, like I will flaunt numbers. I will say, hey, $1 million. We just hit $1 million. Or you'll see our interviews like, Doug and Haley, we made them $100,000 in their first 30 days of joining High Level Systems. People having $20,000, $30,000 weeks joining high level, having us help them build their offer, get calls, make sales. We're good at what we do. We get great results. But at the end of the day, when you really get to know me, and I hope that, some of the clients that have gotten to know me more personally, some of my friends can reflect this sentiment and maybe in the comments reflect that it's true, that I really just care to see people succeed. Like, that is why I'm here. Even before I was in business, I led a group of like young men in our home. It was a Bible group. I just challenged these men. I'm not perfect, right? I'm not even saying that I'm perfect. I have my own struggles, and everybody does. Every leader has like a dark side and things that they struggle with and battles. But I would challenge these men, and I love seeing them grow. Like, I love seeing them have hard conversations. I love seeing them get out of, life-altering addictions and sins and things that they're struggling with. And it's like, I just love that. And so I want you to really see my story not as like a young guy that makes a lot of money, but side effect is money, focus is impact, vision, and helping others fulfill their vision, okay? So that's the first thing that I've really had to learn the hard way over and over again. Because if I set a money goal, like, I might hit it, but whenever I set an impact goal, I like triple my money goals every single time. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you have to shift. So this is a big shift you have to make. And when I made this shift, I'll tell you about myself. About a year and a half ago, we were doing about $20,000 to $40,000 a month, and I've steadily grown. I mean, it's just been steady, not so much consistent month-on-month growth. Some months are up and down, but consistently, if you look at like a 4-month period, the next 4-month period, we're always about 1.2 to 1.5 times bigger every time. And it's just been like that over and over again, just because reputation, putting out content, building authority, etc., getting more results for clients, whatever, running some more ads, who knows, right? You have to shift from being an entrepreneur, which in my eyes, how would I say it? You have to shift from trying to create income. Once you've created income, once you've had like a $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 a month, maybe $20,000 a month, you have to start thinking like a visionary. You have to think like someone who's trying to change the lives of people that you're working with. And I know this kind of reflects on my previous sentiment, but really the way that I cut through and make this principle applicable versus just kind of being an idea is you have to move from being a business owner with income goals to a leader that serves two groups of people. You serve your team and you serve your clients. And you kind of have to let go of the money. Like, you have to let go of the money and just serve your team and serve your clients. You are a servant leader of two groups of people, your team and your clients. And if either two of those groups start to not feel like you're in their corner, bad things happen every time. And so with my team, I've had challenges with my team, don't get it wrong. Like, I'm not a perfect leader. I'm 21 years old, okay? So I'm still learning a lot. But I know that every time we've had a stagnant week or month or quarter, it has been because I've lost focus of one of those things. So once you have the systems, once you have a decent way of getting calls, if you're getting 1 to 3 calls a day, or even 3 or 4 a week, I mean, wherever you want to start building a real structure, start moving from a systems and operations guy and a sales and marketing guy to a leader that equips other people with the strategies that work for you, right? And it just starts to like work on itself. Like, one of our clients that I got to work with one-on-one, and I'll be working with him one-on-one again throughout the next year. It looks like he got to like 200 to 250,000 a month, right? And like, he's a great example of just prove that a method works and then plug somebody in and then empower them in that role, just over and over and over and over again. And that's the secret. So that's how you scale. You go from systems, operations, sales, marketing to a servant of two groups of people, team and clients. So you shift your mentality of yourself. So I've kind of changed the internal dialogue in my head from business owner, entrepreneur, high income to servant of two groups of people, team and clients. And one of my mentors, his name is Blake, and he's actually the guy that got me into cigars. I met him through this group that I went to. It was like 5 a.m. every Thursday at this coffee shop back when I was still living with my parents, and I was just getting my business started, and they actually kind of helped mentor me. It was a group of, I was the youngest by far. The youngest in the group was 30. It went all the way up to like 55, and I was just hanging out with these men, all business owners, one of which owns a local company that is like in the electric consulting niche. So like they install the electricity for large industrial buildings, right? And they have these multiple 7-figure contracts. They run a lot of revenue through the company, and he's done very well. And he helped me understand this idea. And he's like, you have internal customers and you have external customers. Internal customers. And he told me this one time when we went out for coffee, just us. Or cigars. I don't even remember when he told me this. But he said, you get internal customers and external customers. Internal customers, team. You have to have a reason why they're going to work for you. External customers, people who pay you. But just because you're paying your team doesn't mean you now have the right to treat them worse than you treat your clients. You have to treat them both with total like sovereignty, just pour into both sets of them. And I was like, that's a really inspiring message. And he had a lot of credibility because he's the only company in his niche where people actually apply to work for his company. And I won't drop the name of his company or his full name or anything just because, I don't want to hurt, anything. I want his growth to be very natural, right? But that's him. So, and he taught me that, and I applied it, and it's done wonders. So, that's the next big jump. Man, as I'm thinking about these 3 principles, more are coming to mind. So I've got like 15 minutes here, so I'm just gonna spit some more out, and you're welcome to message me. Instagram is a great place to reach me, okay, over DM or whatever you'd want to do there. So, the next idea is putting money in its place. So, whatever you have on a pedestal, whatever you put in your head as this grandiose vision, the further you separate it from yourself, meaning the higher you look up to it, the harder it is to obtain, because the bigger the jump is perceived to be to reach it. And so the more separation you have from yourself and your ideal vision of yourself, the amount of money you want to make, the life you want to lead, the leader you want to be, the sort of lover you want to be, the son, the brother, the husband, the whatever, or even if you're female, reverse the gender rules there. The further those ideals feel, the further they are. The further they feel, the further they are. The distance between where you are and where you want to get, besides time, which is an unchanging variable, it moves at the exact same pace for just about everybody, okay? Time might be relative on a quantum scale, but on an individual scale, here on Earth, we all experience time about the same. So forgetting time as a variable, which is an important variable, but forgetting it for a sec, the only distance between where you are now and where you want to get is the perceived distance. And this is just something I've had to learn. I envisioned myself doing $100,000 a month 2 years ago. So when I first moved out, I wrote on my window, which is one of these windows in this apartment, I wrote $100,000 a month, like $100K/M, $100,000 a month, underlined it like 3 times. It was like the only thing I saw. My desk used to be over here on the other side of the room, so I'd just see my window. I'd see this view that I have, $100,000 a month. I'd see it every day. And that at first is a good thing. I'm visualizing it, thinking about it, envisioning it. I've got a visualization board. I believe in all of that. I don't necessarily believe that there's anything overly spiritual about it. I just think that what you put into your head, you're going to be looking for, which will make it easier to create, right? It's like when you're shopping for a car, you're shopping for a Nissan or something, you start seeing Nissans everywhere, right? Just like if you were trying to aim for $1 million a year, you're going to start to see opportunities to do that everywhere because you're focused on it so intensely. And so the amount of focus you put into it emotionally is going to reflect on your ability to reach it. But if you have this idea that you're not worthy of it, if you have this idea that it's going to be hard for you, whatever you focus on, whatever you believe, you're going to find proof of that. It's called confirmation bias. It's a psychological principle that is recognized in behavioral psychologists. People like, Jordan Peterson talk about confirmation bias. If you don't know who Jordan Peterson is, definitely look him up. The Red Skull himself, for those of you who are following that. Yeah, and he just says, whatever you perceive yourself to be, you'll find evidence of. And so, I had to adopt what was maybe perceived to be a little bit of arrogance and cockiness towards the beginning of my journey. And honestly, this was my situation. It might not be yours. Maybe I did it with less tact than I could have. But I had to have a certain level of brevity to, I'm going to do this. Like, this is just what's going to happen. It's already happened. Like, even 3 years ago, I knew it's already done. There were moments of doubt, but I knew that those moments of doubt were just prices I had to pay to then reach where I wanted to get. I knew it felt inevitable. And if you aren't there in your head yet, don't get upset, because realize that you're choosing to be in that place of doubt because it's more comfortable. And this is why we stay in certain routines and certain habits and certain mind frames, is because we know those places. And this is, for example, why women stay in abusive relationships with men. Even if they're being hit, even if whatever, like, they know that man, and they're afraid that they're going to trade that man for a worse situation. They're like, if this is, I think this is the best I can do, this is what I'm worthy of. And they might not realize that that's what they're saying, but, psychologically, most women, or even if you're in an abusive relationship, or if you're in an environment with your family or friends where you're not getting treated well, you're like, well, this is kind of what I deserve. So, but no, you can draw a line. But because you think you deserve it, it starts with you thinking it's comfortable. It's like, hey, this is comfortable. I know it. It's known for you. And you can't blame yourself. You know that place. And because you know it, you know what it's going to give you. And you can anticipate those waves. Whereas if you deny where you are currently, there's a lot of uncomfort. There's a lot of conflict. Just it's now the unknown. You're now a leaf dispatched from the tree, getting blown around from the wind. I heard this quote. I don't know where I heard it, but it said, growth. There's an upside and a downside to growth. And the downside to growth is it's constantly falling and just at terminal velocity straight down into the void. Right? That's the downside. The upside is there's no ground. So you're never going to smash into something and get hurt. You're just going to keep falling. And your job is to just, get used to that fall and start to kind of find a bit of a flow with it. And so this is something I've had to challenge myself with. When I plateau, it's often because I get to a place of comfort again, and I start denying growth, because growth is that feeling of just constantly falling, and it's scary for a lot of people. But you have to get to a place where you recognize that the trade is so worth it. The trade of that constant fall versus the trade of looking down at the pit and asking what happens if I jump, which is where most people stay. The trade is so worth it. So take the leap, jump, fall, see what happens. Even if you fail, even if you can't catch your bearings, even if you're flailing around in the wind and you can't seem to, there's no ground. There's no ground. So you have as much time as you need to figure it out, but you have to jump. So that's there's a lot of little ideas there that I stacked, but this is just gatherings from my looks into, psychology and human nature, and that I think is the most important study when it comes to developing yourself and helping other people develop, as well as understanding why people do what they do. And last thing is, and this is a more practical, tangible thing that I think will be more useful to those more, intellectual types that are just like, Trey, just tell me a strategy. Fine, dude, I'll tell you the strategy. My strategy: pick one offer, pick an offer, pick one niche, pick one marketing channel, get good at sales. That is literally all you have to do. You have to pick one niche, figure out an industry that has a problem that you can solve based on either your experience, your story, or somebody else's experience and their story, so you can partner with them, market for them. If you're running an agency, you can partner with a contractor, go out and do some marketing based on their case studies, get some clients in. You don't even need to be the expert, okay? You just need to have an expert or a story. So pick a niche, pick an industry, okay? Figure out one. Literally just roll the dice. Pick one. Build an offer. When I say build an offer, I mean talk to some people, figure out what their problems are, put a price tag around the solution to that problem, make it a group training program, make it a coaching program, make it an agency service, make it a whatever, a course. Who cares? Okay, put a price tag on it that excites you and get good at justifying that price tag. Okay, so start with a price tag that excites you, get good at justifying that price tag. A lot of people say, I can't charge $5,000, and you can intellect your way out of growth. This is the thing. People have to understand that you can intellect your way out of growth. The point of diminishing return for thinking about the right thing to do comes 15 minutes in. This is what people don't understand. They think that by thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, they're going to come up with some brand new solution. And True, maybe 10, 20% of the time. The rest of the time, you know what you have to do, and you're just thinking so that you could avoid doing the thing that you have to do, and we all know it, and nobody's going to say it because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But I'm willing to hurt your feelings because I love you and I want you to succeed, okay? So stop thinking. Pick an offer, pick a niche, start some organic processes, share your story, put out content, call to actions, get on calls, have conversations, invite people to meetings, have conversations with them, solve their problems with your offer, get them results. That is all you need to do. That is all you need to do. And it is so dead simple. And again, I don't want to come from a place of arrogance. I understand for a lot of people, there's a lot of complexity. They're afraid of sales. They're not sure they can get results. I understand all of that. But again, you're looking down at that void. You're saying, well, Trey jumped, but I'm not like Trey. No, you don't understand how hard it was for me to take that leap. I was right where you were at, and I did it, and it worked out because I understood that there's no ground, and I have all the time I need to correct my fall. So same for you, offer, niche, sales process, delivery process. It is that simple. You don't need anything more than that. Inside of high-level systems, we help you with 3 things: getting more sales calls, building organic marketing, building your authority, building your brand, building your funnels, getting you a packed out calendar, man. Second, sales, whether it's you, your sales rep, your sales team, getting you guys understanding sales, not persuasion, not psychological hacks, not anything other than just knowing how to have real heart-to-heart conversations about if they're a good fit for what you do. And if they are, how to convince them that if they don't do it right now, that they're losing out. So how to really help people. So this is why you have to be sold out on what you do. So you have to be sold on what you do so that you can then give that conviction to others, okay? And then delivery. What's the timeline you're going to send people through? So results, sales, calls. Those are the only things we help you with an underlying theme of your personal self-psychology. What is keeping you from taking that jump? What is holding you back? And this is why we're so good at getting results, man, is because, I've studied human nature. Our coaches have studied human. You can't succeed in business without understanding yourself. This is just the thing. So every time you've succeeded, and this is why our coaches are only people that have succeeded with us previously that then came back around to help more people. And this is what's so powerful about what we do, and it's why we're so different, is that you're working with people that literally less than a year ago were right where you are at. So anyway, man, keep it simple, have focus. And then once you have that niche and offer and sales process, spend at least 3 years on it. Spend at least 3 years on it. Don't think about stopping until you've made your first million. Don't even think about stopping until you've made your first million. And until you make that first million, you don't even know if this industry is like the one to pick. Because 3 years and $1 million, it's not that much money for 3 years. Okay, it's just not that much money. And again, this is you have to understand, my psychology is that I see money in myself. I don't see a big jump. $1 million, I believe we're going to have $1 million day at some point in my career. It's going to happen. That's a handful of copies of a $30,000 offer. At some point we'll do it. I know for a fact. It's inevitable because of the compound effect. So I just have to stay out of the way, really. And you have to understand, you have to start seeing it that way too. So 3 years, $1 million, not that much. Generate $1 million. Have a $2,000 to $10,000 offer that you're excited to promote that gets results. Just crank your sales process. Get hungry. Get excited about what you do. So those are just some of the core ideas that I've learned. That bottle looks weird there. I'm going to take that back. I'll put it right here. All right, there you go, out of the screen. So just some of the core ideas I've learned, man. I hope this has been a valuable video for you. It's been an incredible journey, and I plan to make my next million much faster than I made my first million because now I know what to do. Your first $10 is your hardest. Your first 100 is your hardest. First 1,000, first 10, first 100,000, first million. It's all the hardest. Once you've done it once, you can do it again. To be honest with you, if I wanted to, I can make it in the next 6 months, but I worry about scale issues, and I want to make sure that people are actually happy they're working with us. So I'm not super money hungry right now. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye-bye.